Balotelli, Aguero! It's coming back for Johnny Wilkinson. He drops for World Cup glory.
Oh yes, what a catch that is! England can do no wrong in the field.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.
Good afternoon and welcome to Grasshopper Radio. I'm here with Chris Crooper, Tom Kinder and Wona Igiehon. We're going to be talking about the World Cup 2018 Russia. We'll start with you, Chris. Very simple question. Who's going to win the World Cup?
Brazil.
Why did you say that?
Fierce front line. They've got a history of doing it. I think international football's often quite attritional and is actually often decided on a few moments of real quality, and I think Brazil have that.
That's a nice answer. Tom?
I would say I think France have got a pretty good chance. I think they've got this massive squad depth. They've left out a lot of players that could play, let's say, for a second-rate team, and you could argue maybe England or someone along those lines.
Yeah.
A lot of the players they've left out of their squad could make it into the first team in other nations, so that shows you how strong they are. Really.
Yeah, that's nice. Warner?
I'm going with Belgium.
Belgium.
To win it?
Yeah, to win it.
That's quite.
Yeah, go on, why?
The team is unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
You can't deny that.
On paper,
and on paper, same thing with England as well. But, you know.
What about you? Who's going to win it?
I'd have said Brazil as well.
Yeah.
I think their front line
Brazil.
is electric.
Yeah.
In Jesus, Coutinho and Neymar. And I think if they... Because people were thinking that their fullbacks can be their weak link because they attack too much. But then in Casemiro and Fernandinho, you've got two of the arguably best centre midfielders, defensive midfielders in Europe, at least. With European clubs.
Yeah.
What about the Germans, though, as well? Because, I mean, they won it 2014.
You can never rule out Germany, you know.
Yeah.
It's always the same people that are going to win it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's either France, Germany, Spain, Brazil, historically Italy, even though they're not in it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
So what about Argentina, though? Because you got Lionel Messi in there, Aguero, Dybala.
They never come up on an international stage.
They got to the final,
Well,
2014.
They did. I mean, I think... Is it probably going to be Messi's last World Cup?
I reckon. He's 30 this year.
Yeah, you think if he's going to complete his legacy and go down as the greatest footballer of all time,
He needs to win it.
he needs to
They
win
do
it.
well to win it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, interesting. So, next one. Tom, we'll start with you. Who's your dark horse of the tournament?
I actually think Senegal
Is that a
from
horse?
Africa. Yeah. Because
Winning coops.
they've actually got quite a decent set of players, considering it's a nation that's only been in it once, I think, before.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the likes of kind of Mane, Koulibaly, people like that, who actually are pretty well-established players. I don't think they will necessarily win it, but I could see them getting further than people would imagine.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris?
I mean, I would have gone with Senegal myself, but I'm going to say Russia. They're the
Wow.
worst team in the tournament, but think of what that fan base is going to be.
Yeah.
Think of how hostile that is going to be for any team playing them. You know, when you historically look at sort of Turkish clubs who have done well in European football, a lot of that has been down to how terrifying it is to go to those places as an away team. And so even though they're by far the worst team in the competition, you know, they've got that on their side,
Yeah,
and that can take you a long way.
Warner?
Obviously, I'm going with Nigeria.
Hey.
Just because, you can't rule out my people. That's all I'm saying. You just can't.
Is there any players
We've got decent players. We've got Hinacho. We've got Mikel Obi as our defending line. We've got Victor Moses. We've got Musa, our wingers from Chelsea and Leicester. So we've got a generally fast team, and we were testing when we played England. We were testing our defense.
Yeah.
So I think we've solidified our back line as well. So I think we might get out of the group stage.
Yeah.
Contrary to what people may think. So
Who's in your group?
we've got Argentina, we've got Croatia, and we've got
Iceland.
That's quite tricky.
Hard group.
That's
It's
probably-
tricky.
that's
So
one
it's
of the
really,
hardest.
I mean, you got to think Argentina are going to win that
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
So,
So
it's
just
like
to
whether
knock out Croatia.
Croatia
Croatia.
solid
See,
as
that-
well.
that's
They
my
have
dark
a
horse.
possibility to dark
That's
horse.
my dark
okay.
Because you think you've got Rakitic and Modric in the middle, who
Yeah.
are world class.
Mandzukic up top.
Mandzukic
Not
up
bad.
top, Perisic on the wing.
Mm.
That's a world class team. And then obviously we haven't even mentioned Portugal, and you've got Ronaldo. Ronaldo can always score a goal.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that I thought Ronaldo was poor in the Champions League
Yeah,
final.
I thought he
I
was
did-
terrible.
I
That's one
thought they
game.
had a really bad game, and instantly when they won the Euros, I
He
mean,
kept
they
playing
held.
that,
he got injured, didn't he?
Third
Super
minute.
early,
Yeah.
and basically
They held their own.
But they held on against France. France should have won that match.
Yeah.
And they rode their luck, and Matey came up with a late goal. Who scored for them? I can't remember. Eder scored that late goal and did it for them. But I don't fancy Portugal to
Not
do
at all.
anything. No, not really.
Okay, yeah. Next question. Is there any players that you think will stand out this year? So you think maybe carry a team or really, be a player of the tournament?
Well, none of us were selected. So
I know, right?
you weren't selected for Nigeria.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I don't know how Tom didn't get called up for the keeper. But yeah, any players?
I'd say Salah will carry Egypt if he's
That's
back.
if he's fit.
If he's back to play.
Well, apparently he's going to be fit for the second game, isn't
In
he?
fairness, they might go out of their groups. Their group's pretty weak. I think they've got Russia and I think they've got Saudi Arabia in there as well. So two
quite weak.
pretty abject teams. So
Yeah.
I reckon they might be able to get out, to be fair.
Yeah.
So.
Chris?
I would like to. I'm going to go with an English player.
I was going to go for one as well.
I would like to see Vardy get some more game time.
Wow, that's an
And I'd like
outside
to.
shout.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to start. That's the thing. But obviously, this is something we'll talk about later if we go into the specifics of England. But I think if we play the right way, I think Vardy could be huge for us. But I don't think he's probably going to be a standout player because I think he's going to be used as an impact sub.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm going to say Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, Salah took over the Premier League this year, which is fair enough. But De Bruyne has been world class.
Yeah.
And with a team with Hazard, Lukaku, Mertens, Dembele, that's a great team just to distribute. And he's been given that licence role by Roberto Martinez for Belgium. So I think he deserves a shout.
Oh yeah, he's a class act.
Okay.
Unlucky to lose out to Salah, really.
Yeah.
To be honest,
100%.
they both should have got it because he did have a belting season.
Definitely. England. Some people think they're going to win it. Some people they're going to get knocked out in the group. Let's hear We'll start with you this time. One.
Yeah, I saw it last time. But,
Did you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think as a team, England's a very good team. But then they've always had a good team, and they've never gone as far as quarterfinals before.
Yeah, since '66, England have never gone further than the quarterfinals.
We got to the semi-final in '90.
What, of World Cup?
Yeah.
Oh, I read that it was 60.
Stop
66.
banging the table because every time you bang the table, it'll make the mic go boom, boom, boom.
Shows you're embarrassing me.
No, they got to the semis in '90. They lost to Germany.
Well, how far do you think England will go this year then?
Max quarters.
Really?
Max.
I agree.
Because if we get to the quarters, we're going to be playing either Brazil or Germany. We're not going to be either of those sides. The problem with England, there's a variety of problems. But firstly, our midfield's not strong enough to compete with the likes of Brazil and Germany. The thing that really bothers me about England, even though I've taken some confidence from the last two friendly performances, is that when you look at great international sides like Spain, Italy, even though again they're not in it this year, but Spain, Germany, Brazil, they've all got an identity and a style which they play.
Yeah.
You can say that is the way the Spanish play, that is the way the Germans play, that's the way the Brazilians play. We over the years we have lost our style, which back in the day, before all the influx of foreign players in the Premier League, was a lot more direct, using pace, hitting it on the wings, putting crosses in. I know that seems a bit old school, a bit throwback, but since then we haven't really. I wouldn't say we've got our own identity as an international team, and I think that's a problem. I would personally like to see England playing long ball, because our midfield's quite weak comparatively.
Yeah.
But when you've got players like Vardy, who for Leicester loves the long ball.
Yeah.
I mean, what I could compare it to, I know this is a different thing, but when Liverpool played Roma in the Champions League first leg, that long ball over the top, Roma were at sea every time. And when you're playing against makeshift defences, and I mean defences, international defences that don't play together week in, week out, if you play that ball over the top and you have got serious pace, the likes of Rashford, the likes of Sterling, I think it's a big shame that Oxlade-Chamberlain got injured.
Definitely.
But if you've got the likes of that pace and a ball over the top, those defences, I don't care who you are, you're going to panic.
I think that we have what is essentially good players on paper, but I think there's a big problem with the attitude of our international players from when they play internationally compared to when they play at the club. I don't know why, because I mean it should be like your biggest honour to play for your country.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel that every time we go to a World Cup or Euros, respectively, I think it's the same recurring theme that they don't seem that bothered. They don't really that bothered about being there. And it's not universal for the whole team, but like you can tell there's a lot of players who have been to several of these tournaments, and like the same product keeps coming out, sort of half-hearted kind of. And I think that the reason that some of the underdog teams in the World Cup or Euros do as well as they do is because they've got the passion, because they haven't been in it before, because they're really excited to play. Maybe it's an African team whose players aren't in the Premier League, so they're really excited to play.
Was the biggest stage they'll ever play.
Exactly. Well, it is for the England boys as well, but for some reason I don't know whether they don't get. I don't know if what their pay's like for it or whatever. But
shouldn't be about that.
I think they do. I think they do care. I think they are. I wouldn't say that they're not bothered. I just think that there is such a burden of expectation these days for these players when they put that shirt on.
But then it's arguably this year there isn't that expectation. There is a real lack.
No, I mean I think we will do okay.
Yeah.
But I think if we, it's a young group. If we come out with a quarter final, and as long as we don't get tonked by either Germany or Brazil, I think if we can get a point against Belgium, and get out the group as runner-up or winners, and then have a good second round and a good quarter final, that'll be a very successful tournament for us. Can we win it? I don't think we can. There's always an element of luck. I went back to even if you look at Real Madrid in the Champions League, they were very lucky to get there. And if you win a tournament, you have to get lucky at some point.
I'm just going to bring it back to what you said before as well with the midfield. Now Liverpool arguably hasn't got great midfield, yet they got to the Champions League final, like you say, by playing that long ball. Now, if you watched England yesterday against Costa Rica, they were playing, crosses were constant. It was Rashford and Vardy up top for that game, but the likes of Loftus-Cheek was really bringing the ball forward, which is really interesting. Delph and Rose looked very good on the left, and Kieran Trippier is a great crosser for the right wing back, and having that three at the back and then 3 in midfield and 2 up front, I think it depends, because we've got so many substitutions that we can use for like Vardy, Rashford to bring on. So I don't know, I don't think the midfield, if we do play that long ball, is going to be a necessity.
I think it's more of a case when we don't have the ball. When we're up against when we're up against the likes of Brazil and Germany and even Belgium, if they start cutting through us, I think we're going to find it difficult.
Who would be in your England starting 11?
Well, I think if we do the whole one, I think maybe we should name 3 players that have to start. I think that might be an idea.
Yeah. So, Tom?
I think that, Kane, you'd hope, even though he actually hasn't performed that well for England as of yet, I think he should probably start, to be fair. I think that Gary Cahill should probably start, just for experience's sake, because there is a lot of young players. And
a lot of players haven't played a lot.
Exactly. And together, likewise, which he probably knows the boys, quite a lot of them, quite well. And Sterling, I think, is likewise, because he's obviously one of our best players.
Yeah. So. Wona?
Well, I'm not very well versed in the English side, but I'd say you'd have to play Kane, because his scoring ability as a striker is incredible.
And he will play because he's captain.
He has to play. So Kane, Sterling's done incredibly this season, but I'm not sure how well he would do with an English side that he's never played with before, like on this where he's playing now. So I wouldn't necessarily put Sterling. I'd say I'd put Rashford, because also because he's a good attacking player, and I think on an English stage he played better than Sterling. That's just my personal opinion. And I also think I agree with Cahill starting as a defender, because he's a great defender and a very experienced one at that. So in a team that's so new, you need some of that.
Yeah.
Mine are probably going to be similar to yours. I think 100% you have to start Kane. I think 100% you have to start Sterling. I think Sterling, actually, recently for England, he's looked our best player.
Definitely.
By far. He has had an absolute... he's been receiving some criticism over the amount of chances he's missed. But the fact that he gets in those positions, he's going to miss a lot. But he's also... How many goals has he scored this season? 18 from midfield. How many assists?
15, I think.
Yeah. He has to start. He has to start. I really like Kyle Walker. I think he's got to start as well. You're loving that because it's all Man City.
But where would you start him?
I'd go as a wing back.
As a wing back.
Yeah, I wouldn't put more. I mean, he did play well as one of three. I'm not sure actually, because he did play well as one of three. I mean, he's definitely going to go with the wing backs, isn't he? So maybe as one of the three.
Yeah.
But it isn't his
natural
position and the position he plays week in, week out for Man City.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go for quite a different one to what you all said, because I take for granted that the likes of Kane and that are going to start. For one, I will agree Sterling needs to start up front, because his ability to beat players is second to none.
Yeah.
He can beat any player, skin them easy. Other one I'm going to go with in the midfield is Fabian Delph. It's a bit of an outside punt,
right,
but his energy that he brings to that midfield, he can track anybody down. He's really good.
So who's he coming in for?
I take that Dyer will definitely start, because Gareth Southgate loves Dyer, and I think he'll start Henderson or Ali. I'm not sure which one he will.
Right.
But then I would have Delph make sure it would be Dyer and Delph, and then one of the other two, depending on who we're playing.
Ali,
yeah.
He hasn't had a great season, Ali, has he?
No, that's the thing.
The season before, but sometimes.
But then Jesse Lingard has had a great season. You got to think that he might be able to get in, but he'd be a great sub, I think, because of the pace he can bring. And then the other one that I'm going to go for is Harry Maguire.
Right.
At centre half, he's so strong, and I've watched him a few times for Leicester, and he can bring the ball out really well. He can ping a ball, and if you've got the likes of John Stones next to him,
so you play Stones with Maguire.
I play the three at the back.
Stones, Maguire, and
Cahill, or Walker.
Right.
One of the two, because if it was Walker,
I like Cahill's Stones and Maguire, because it's a combination of youth, experience, and Stones
power.
is a good ball player, isn't he?
Yeah, Maguire is pure power. You'd hate to play against him.
Yeah,
he's an absolute stonewall. Just another one as well that I'll ask all of you. Just a quick 1, 2, 3, 4. Goalkeeper.
For England,
because it's always a controversial decision.
Peter Shelton. It's between two.
Pope.
Yeah. I mean, who's going to get it?
It is Pickford. Gareth Southgate has said Pickford's the number one.
We have to compare their seasons then.
Yeah, I think
Butland's
had a good season. They've all had good seasons.
Yeah, that's why they're there.
Yeah, but then Butland got relegated with Stoke.
Yeah.
Pope only got in.
Well, that's it. He saw a lot of action, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think Pope's had a great season as well. I know I've got no problem with Pickford.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he's not going to have to do a lot.
Yeah. Well. That's another decision entirely. And then last question before we wrap up. Favourite World Cup goal, if you can think of any. I know you've seen a lot more World Cups than what we have.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah.
Who would you? Have you all got a pick?
Yeah. So I would say not necessarily for the actual goal, because the goal was okay, but it was actually the impact had on me. So I was watching the 2010 World Cup, so I was 10. And I hadn't really necessarily taken a big jump into watching football, playing football, supporting football. And then it was in South Africa, and it was the first goal that, I can't pronounce his name, something on like Shala Balala or something like that. In South Africa, he scored a quite decent goal, but it was because it was at the home nation. This is kind of there was an eruption in the stadium, everyone was going mental, it was just really cool.
They meant for a few seconds you stopped hearing the annoying, what are those things called?
Oh,
for that moment, oh my god, it stopped.
And then from then on, I thought I spent a lot more time watching football, playing football, and enjoying it more. So that was a good moment for me.
That's really good.
I think it's that emotion. I mean, everyone can talk about the technicalities of football and how beautiful the game is, but it's always that theatre and that emotional element which gets you sucked into.
That's why I think it's the greatest sport in the world.
Yeah, because it's the theatre of it.
Yeah,
that sucks you in.
It's a drama. Yeah, it's a drama.
Well, just because I like the goal and I like the player, I've always loved Van Persie, so I'm going for his goal against
Spain.
Spain, yeah.
His header.
Yeah.
A lob header.
Yeah.
Never seen that.
Yeah,
it's a new level.
And it was brilliant because they also tonked Spain. See, I'm a big fan of the Dutch, because I think they play football the way England would like to.
Yeah.
They're like a slightly more glitzy, flary version of England.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like Brazil or Argentina or any of the Latin teams doing 1,000 step overs. It's all about fundamental technique and skill, but just perfected.
Yeah.
which brings you on to your favourite World Cup moment.
Well, we both discussed this beforehand. We both had the same one, but mine's Dennis Bergkamp of 98 against Argentina. And the ball's played over the top and he just stops it dead. Like, people talk about Ronaldinho and Maradona and stuff. I think Dennis Bergkamp, just his pure control, needs to be in the discussion of, like, technically I think he's the best player I've ever seen, like, clips of. And then the outside the foot finish as well at the end is outrageous.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great finish,
Yeah,
great
it's gonna
touch.
And to beat Argentina, and you've got to say,
exactly.
you know, the interesting thing about Argentina is that there's this whole idea that England's greatest rival is Germany. I think it's Argentina.
Really?
I think
Because of Maradona?
because of Maradona, because of Simeone, Beckham.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in '98, which was also what was so great about the Dutch knocking them out. It's because we'd had that game with them in the round before. But there's just something about wanting to see us beat Argentina.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think they are probably our arch rivals, really. But yeah, I would go with that. Did we say goals or just moments?
Yeah, goals we said, but you can choose a moment if you want.
I mean, probably from that same tournament, I would say Michael Owen's goal against Argentina in the round before. You know, he's your age.
Yeah.
He's your age. Imagine you score that goal.
It's pretty insane.
You know, and Michael Owen, he'd played a bit for Liverpool, but you know, was still. I mean, certainly on the international stage, he was an unknown quantity. And for a kid to come on in that moment, and it was like Roy of the Rovers. It's like I just couldn't believe it was happening.
Could you see Rashford doing the same thing then?
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
They got similar qualities, though, as players. You know, quick, young.
But the thing is, what's different about, and it's again going back to what you're saying about the hunger of these players, is that these players get so young and they're put on a pedestal so young, which again gives them the burden of responsibility of fulfilling that potential. But Rashford's already known about globally. When Michael Owen came out as a kid and played in that game, he was known but not on the same level because it wasn't like that then. Players became famous after they'd done something.
But to be fair,
and they became rich after they'd done something.
Rashford hasn't really played for Man U this season. He
scored in the Europa League a lot like the season before, you know, the English, the Premier League is so huge now. I mean, it's compared to how it was, 20 years ago. We're talking now, you know. So I think, you know, people are going to be aware of Rashford. I mean, I'd love to see a moment like that, but I don't know. And also, I don't think Rashford will necessarily be the player that Michael Owen was.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Owen, I mean, really, once he lost his pace, that was kind of it for him because he relied heavily on his pace. But he could finish as well. He was a potent finisher. And, I can't. I'd love to see a moment like that, but I'm not sure it will happen.
It's quite interesting looking at this England squad because you can always draw comparisons to previous players. Like Kane, for me, looks a lot like Shearer in the way he plays. Like Rashford, Michael Owen. I think, I mean, there's quite a few players that'd be quite interesting. Like Stones and Ferdinand is always ones that are put together. When I look at Maguire, I see a lot of JT as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, going back to what I was saying again, also in that 98 team, you know, that was still, you know, we played great football in the tournament 2 years before in Euro 96, which we should have won. We should have won the whole tournament. Against Argentina in 98, we were belting. And again, it's that identity. We're playing very direct with a lot of pace. And, you know, I really think that is going to be the key if we're going to do anything, because you're not going to out-technique
the likes of Brazil.
Brazil or Germany or even Belgium. So we need to play to our strengths, and that is pace and power.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming. I think it's been really productive, really well done. Thank you very much.
Grasshopper Radio.